So, good evening, students. Cell biology and biotechnology. Let's go ahead with that. In the previous sessions, in this lesson, like we had started with the cell biology part, where we had been discussing about stem cells, organ transplantation, organ donation, right? Uske baad we had discussed about biotechnology. After the introduction to this subject of biotechnology, the different areas it touches upon, the significance, development and awareness in our country, followed by the applications in various fields, right? So as such, biotechnology part of this lesson we have almost completed. Okay, now the last part of this lesson is about the different stages of agricultural development in our country. Okay, that's the last part. So again, it is like touching upon many important concepts, but not too much in detail about each. Okay, so whatever topics are being touched upon, we have to discuss and we have to know their the concept and their importance. Okay, so like basically, you know, like we have been speaking about agriculture in the earlier classes also. Like agriculture in our country, like if you travel across the length and breadth of our country, you know, like lot of agricultural fields you come across, है ना? अपने अपने नेटिव प्लेस वगैरह जाते रहेंगे तो यू मस्ट हैव सीन लाइक फील्ड्स होते हैं, फार्मर्स होते हैं. दैट इज व्हाट वी सिटी फोक्स जनरली वी विश कि अपने पास भी ऐसा खेत होता, सुकून की जिंदगी जीते. करेक्ट. And ultimately the life in the city and the life at native place, villages and all, if you see, it's very different. But now if you think from the farmer's point of view, okay, like basically agriculture means what? How do you explain? Apne words mein batao, what is agriculture? Yes, you know it, come on, apne words mein bolo. What is agriculture? Yes, Dipali?
Farming of different crops.
Okay, farming of different crops. So suppose if I have a, like if I am growing mango crops, so am I doing agriculture?
Yes.
Mango plantations comes under, yes. Actually speaking, there is, when you say agriculture, what you said is correct, different types of crops. But under that there are different types or branches, you can say. Okay, just say if you are talking about the food grain crops, rice, wheat, maize, ये होता है agriculture. Along with that, there is something called horticulture. Have you heard about this? Horticulture करके भी बोलते हैं. It is the cultivation of fruits, vegetables, nuts and flowers. So you must have seen, कभी ट्रेन वगैरह से जाते हुए देखे रहेंगे, sunflower का field है पूरा. You have seen that? Correct? Sunflowers,
Yes.
marigolds, right? So flowering crops which are not eaten, but still they have value in the market. So that is also part of agriculture because उसमें भी farming किया जाता है, right? So whenever farming is done, some or the other crops are grown which are economically important. So it is obviously applicable even for fruit bearing trees. So mango, okay, like if you go in, to the south part of our country, यहाँ बहुत सारे farmers होते हैं who have coconut plantations. Correct. In Maharashtra and many of the southern states, banana plantations होते हैं, jackfruit cultivation करते हैं. Correct. So यहाँ पर तो trees हो गए. Okay. So this kind of farming also includes under agriculture. Okay. If you go to the hill stations, there are tea estates. चाय के बागान होते हैं ना. If you go to the Darjeeling side, है ना. If you go to Munnar part of Kerala, so tea estates are there. So agriculture includes everything. Okay, flowering crops, fruits, vegetables. कितने लोगों के tomato plantations होते हैं. So that is also agriculture. So when you consider all these things at one stretch, if I ask you, in our country, in India, do we grow all these crops?
No.
We grow almost every crop. Like in India, which is the state where maximum cultivation of saffron takes place? Kesar.
Kashmir.
Yes, Kashmir is famous. Do we grow apples in our country?
Yes.
Which state? Apples are popular in? कौन से स्टेट से आते हैं apples? I think you must be learning all this in geography also, right? Apple cultivation is the maximum in which state of our country? There can be more than one state. Any one state you can say. If I ask you, apples, are they grown in Goa? Goa में apples grow करते हैं?
No.
No. Apples के लिए it requires cold climate. So again, Kashmir and Himachal. Okay. So you know very well, Mahabaleshwar ke strawberries. It's famous, correct? These are seasonal fruits, I'm telling, right? So mangoes, so you know very well, Alfonso mango from Maharashtra, so famous. Okay. Then you are aware about grapes at Nashik region, oranges from Nagpur. Correct. There are so many such crops, if you see, which are highly cultivated in our country, according to the region, according to the climate, according to the topography. So in India, at present, there are lots of people who are into farming, and they are cultivating a wide variety of crops. Okay, in which part of the country is mustard grown very commercially, very well? सरसों के खेत कौन से स्टेट में होते हैं?
Punjab.
करेक्ट,
Punjab.
पंजाब. मूवीज में सब दिखाते हैं ना, राइट? So these are the things that we observe around us. If you go to the northeast part of our country, beyond Assam, you find lots of bamboo plantations. That is also one of the important commercial crops. Correct? So in the length and the breadth of our country, if you see, all types of crops are grown. So it is indicating towards one very important point, that because in our country lots of these crops are grown, that's why we don't need to import so many crops. Everything is very grown very well in our country. Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh are very popular for sugar cane. So we don't need to import sugar cane. Rice is cultivated very well in our country. Right? Madhya Pradesh is very famous for wheat cultivation. Okay. So India में जैसे अपना बासमती rice very popular. That's our indigenous variety. जिसका international market में बहुत demand है. So these are the points or examples I am telling you, which indicates that how much in demand is our country in other countries for all these crops. You all know very well Kerala is popular for coconuts as well as one more thing. Which other types of crops from Kerala?
Rice.
Jackfruit.
Jackfruit is there, rice also, but more than that, which is exclusively from Kerala. As a tourist, if I go to Kerala, suppose for a few days, so there are some things which I bring from there. Of course, banana chips वगैरह तो होते ही है. That is very popular. जो नारियल के तेल में तला हुआ.
Coffee.
Relax. Coffee mainly from Karnataka, Mysore region. Coffee is very popular there. Kerala is popular for. How many of you are from Kerala actually? Abhirami. Okay. Abhirami, there is something else besides butter and cheese also. Sundari also?
Yes.
Okay. You must be knowing spices. Beginning. Cardamom, black pepper. Kerala is so popular for that. कितने सारे spice gardens हैं वहाँ पर. Are you aware? So Kerala is very popular. Kerala में Western Ghats जो है ना अपना country का, this western coast of Maharashtra which ends at Kerala. So वहाँ पर एक अगस्त्य मलई hills करके very popular, which is on the border of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. अगस्त्यमलई हिल्स पूरा रेंजेस में देयर इज वन हिल्स ओवर देयर जिनका नाम ही है कार्डमम हिल्स. तो सच एरियाज आर मतलब स्पाइसेस इन द सेंस कल्टीवेटेड तो है ही, उसके अलावा वाइल्ड में भी मिलता है. एंड इमेजिन स्पाइस प्लांट्स ग्रोइंग इन द वाइल्ड. दैट इज द नेचुरल ट्रेजर एट केरला. So these are all the points which are indicating the agricultural and natural resource wealth of our country. Now we have to think about this point, and based on the Indian scenario, we have to see the various stages of agricultural development. Okay, like if you go few decades back in our country, farming was the main occupation. Now people are venturing into other fields, people are getting higher education qualifications, so mostly agriculture ज़्यादा लोग continue नहीं करते. Okay, but if you go a few years down the line, even after all this, like अभी जो ऐसा example मैंने बताया कि farm in our country in different regions so many different crops are grown and lots of crops are very much in demand in the other countries. So do you think the farmers in our country are living a happy life? All types of farmers and those who are into any type of farming, are they living a happy life? Are they prosperous enough?
No.
No.
No. Why? एक कॉमन सा क्वेश्चन अगर पूछता हूँ कि what are the problems which farmers are facing in our country? You must have heard about many farmers committing suicides, especially from the Vidarbha regions and all. What must be the reason that people who are engaged into farming, which has got a lot of demand in our markets, why are they suffering so much that they need to take such extreme steps? क्या problems है उनको farmers को? सोचो.
Not proper rates giving to their crops or the products which were grown by them.
Okay, so you are telling cost factor. Okay, they are not getting the cost which they should be getting it. So what must be the reason?
Loans.
Very good. Loans. Farmers need to take a lot of loans. Why? लोन क्यों लेते हैं? Yes, Harsha?
For buying seeds.
For buying seeds. Okay, so that means the seeds or any such material which they buy is very costly. Okay, so if you imagine that, okay, they are taking a loan, they are buying seeds, they are putting all their effort, they are sowing the seeds, so why they are not able to repay the loans then?
Because due to sometimes floods or drought.
Right now in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai side, you know very well what is happening.
Yes.
Right? Heavy rain since the past few days. It's all flooded. And in the month of October, you know what happened in Kerala. There were heavy rains and floods. Right? In the monsoon, there were a lot of floods in Uttarakhand and Maharashtra. So this environmental crisis, environmental disasters are the major problems which farmers face. So because of which, whatever money they have spent to buy these propagules and sow the crops, they are not able to get a returns. You can imagine agriculture or farming as a business. Farmers are kind of businessmen. Any business person will invest some money to set up the business. And whatever products, whatever goods are manufactured, they are sold in the market with the aim of getting some profit. Suppose if I'm setting up a business, I'm investing my own 100 rupees in it. So in return, I should be getting somewhere around 150 to 200 at least, depending upon the product. Only then I can say that, yes, I have earned a profit. If I spend 100 rupees, I put all my efforts, I invest my time, and in return, I'm getting only 100 rupees back. So is that a proper business? It's like no profit, no loss. I didn't earn anything. I just wasted my time and resources. But in the case of farmers, what is happening? The farmer is giving 100 rupees on that too, not his own money, by taking loan, as an example. And the crops are destroyed due to various reasons. And whatever possible crops here the farmer is trying to sell in the market, they are not being sold. So जो 100 rupees invest किया था उसका मुश्किल से 50-60 रुपए रिटर्न मिल रहा है. So it's a loss. So that means in the overall transaction, farmer is not earning anything at all. Profit तो है ही नहीं, उल्टा loss हो गया, and loan लिया था वो repay नहीं कर पा रहे. This is the overall scenario. So as you all said, floods, environmental problem is one of them. Besides that, there are other problems which farmers face. कि buying seeds, you said, seeds का quality, कि जितने seeds खरीद रहे हैं उतना सारा yield वो मिल रहा है क्या? So if the seeds are of poor quality, the farmer is not getting the returns. Because if we think of ourselves as a customer, you go to the market to buy the grains, fruits, vegetables, everything. So you want the best quality for you. And as a layman, you think that I am spending my money, so I want good quality crops. But उसके पीछे farmer का कितना loss हो रहा है, we don't think. No person will ever think कि अगर मैं सड़ा हुआ crop नहीं खरीदूंगा तो farmer का नुकसान होगा, तो okay, let me buy the rotten ones. Of course, nobody will think about that. Right? Farmer also doesn't want to sell any product which is spoiled or which is rotten. But farmer is dependent upon nature for a lot of things. Unseasonal rainfalls आते हैं, कितना crops destroy हो जाते हैं. So what will the farmer do in such a case? Like as you can see, agricultural fields है, open में है, बारिश आएगा तो सबको पूरे field को raincoat तो नहीं पहना सकते, correct? So environmental problem is there. Many a times the plants suffer from diseases, the crops. So fungi, bacteria, viruses, सब तरह के disease होते हैं crops में. The farmer is not able to save the crops. Okay, many times insect pest attack takes place. You remember last year in the lockdown what happened? Grasshoppers का पूरा अपना locust का पूरा swarm आ गया था.
Yes.
Right, in the western part of our country, all the way from Dubai side, huge swarms of locust. And they're such dangerous pests कि पूरे field को एक झटके में साफ कर सकते हैं. In many other places, wild animals near agricultural fields are a problem. Wild elephants आ जाते हैं, trample कर देते हैं, crops destroy करते हैं. Okay, so all these are the problems. Water scarcity is one of them. If you go to the dry and desert regions of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Kutch side, farmers are facing water scarcity. तो कैसे crops grow करेंगे वहाँ पर? That's the basic requirement. Okay, so soil enrichment, fertilizers, they are the requirements, and they are also very costly. Okay, so these are the major problems which farmers are facing in our country. And for that, इनको समझकर इनके problems को दूर करने के लिए there was something called as green revolution which took place in our country. Do you know that green revolution? सुना इसके बारे में?
Yes.
Right? Green revolution. It means like, see, whenever the word revolution is there, history में industrial revolution पढ़ा होगा. Revolution means a drastic change over a short period of time. उसको बोलते हैं revolution. So a few decades back in India, agriculture was kind of a very traditional aspect. कि farmers पूरा मेहनत करते थे, हल चलाते थे, okay, and only natural means were there and completely dependent upon the nature. Monsoon पे depend करते थे irrigation के लिए. So that was the scenario. So output बहुत fluctuate होने लगा and farmers used to suffer a great loss. So in order to help the farmers, in order to bring about betterment of the farmers, there was green revolution which started. So what are the different aims of this green revolution? सबसे पहले, to increase the yield of the crops. That's a basic requirement. Because if you see over a period of decades, the requirement increased, the demand also increased, and that increased because of the population explosion. Everybody wants food. Correct? Secondly, improved crop varieties. So better varieties in the market, farmers will own more profit. Okay. Then resistance to disease and pest. Last time हमने example देखा था cotton, bollworm, PT cotton. Do you remember that? Correct. So like that, many crops they suffer from lots of disease and pest. So उससे resistance. So जितना resistant crop रहेगा, farmer will suffer very less loss. Okay. Genetically modified, enriched varieties. You remember golden rice? I shown that example. है ना, तो वो बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के थ्रू जेनेटिकली मॉडिफाई किए एंड more nutrients were added. So it's not just the amount of the crops, it's also the quality of the crops. Quantity and quality दोनों जरूरी. Okay. Proper use of agrochemicals. So we have seen biofertilizers, you remember, different types. So other than that, there are many other fertilizers, pesticides, nematicides, rodenticides. You remember herbicides. Correct. So all these are coming under one category called agrochemicals. Okay. Waste management के agricultural fields में से बहुत सारा natural waste निकलते हैं. The weeds are plucked. Okay. The cleanliness of the fields take place. Okay. The dry parts of the plants fall down. इन सब का proper एक compost किया जा सकता है. So that will be added manure, which can be used back in the field rather than throwing it out. That is waste management. Okay. And irrigation facilities कि like farmer need not depend upon only the monsoon rains. कि जब चाहिए जैसा चाहिए पानी मिल जाए. Okay. Farmers in the earlier scenario, if you see, they used to depend upon the nearby water bodies. River वगैरह पास होते थे उसमें से पानी उठाते. Now everywhere there is no river, no such water body. So artificial irrigation facilities could be given. तो pumps, wells, tube wells, okay, ये सब create करते हैं and artificial water supply is given. Okay, and instead of using only animals like bullocks, farmers can make use of machines. So इसमें क्या हो जाएगा? Animals का efforts में और machine के efforts में बहुत difference है. Okay, machines are sophisticated. We can make the machines do more work as compared to animals. Okay, so tractors and harvesting devices कि many a times manual harvesting करते वक्त crop destroy होगा कि while I'm plucking the crop, okay, root vegetable है तो मैं एकदम जमीन से उखाड़ रहा हूँ तो उस वक्त damage हो जाता है. So if there are proper devices which are used, so the damage to the crops reduces. And even after harvesting, how I am storing it in the godowns, how I am transporting it, उसमें भी अच्छे facilities हैं. So that at any stage, right from the sowing to the time it reaches the market, there is no loss. All these things, when they were added, it all came under Green Revolution. So who was the person in India who brought about this Green Revolution?
M.S. Swaminathan.
M.S. Swaminathan.
Was Dr. M.S. Swaminathan. He is known as the father of Green Revolution in India. Okay, he was an agricultural scientist. And he got inspired from another person called Dr. Norman Borlaug from Mexico. He had developed genetically modified varieties of wheat crop, hexaploid variety, Triticum aestivum करके. That was developed by Dr. Norman Borlaug. So after understanding, see, scientific awareness is therefore necessary, no? Okay, but at the same time, of course, it has got its own disadvantages also. If you see, कि farmers को सब बोला गया agrochemical use करो, तो इतना rampant use होने लगा कि now environment problem have started occurring. So there has to be a balance, and there has to be a proper extension education. Extension education मतलब whatever is learned scientifically, that should be passed on as a knowledge to the farmers also. So research institutes कभी-कभी क्या करते हैं? They set up camps with the agricultural farmers and उनको उनके लेवल पर जाकर सिखाते हैं. ना farmers को अगर मैं बोलूँगा genetically modified crop, तो ये टर्म उनके लिए मुश्किल है. Many of the farmers are not so well educated. तो farmers को उनके language में उनके लेवल पर जाकर बताना. Now we are learning science, so we are aware about these words. But farmer को ये level नहीं समझ में आएगा ना. So that is extension education. That has to be brought about very well. Okay, understood about Green Revolution properly? Okay,
Yes.
so this is a kind of a further application of biotechnology. इसलिए इस lesson में included है. Now just like green revolution in our country, अच्छा ये देखो agricultural sector में काम करने के लिए there are many research institutes and organizations in our country. Okay, you need to know the names and the locations. Just so you can see this IARI, Indian Agricultural Research Institute at New Delhi. In this lesson, right from the beginning, you know I have been showing you names of institutes. All such institutes you are learning now with their locations. तो ये सब याद रखना, ठीक है? Then same way, you are having Central Citrus Research Institute at Nagpur. Okay, so Nagpur is famous for oranges, you know that. So citrus fruit. So like that you can remember Central Citrus Research Institute located at Nagpur. फिर है ये देखो सोलापुर का National Research Center on Pomegranates. ये मतलब entire research institute only for research on pomegranates. Okay, डालिम खाते हो? Right? Yes, it takes a lot of efforts to remove the seeds and the fruits and then eat it. मेहनत वाला fruit है. Every fruit is not easy like a banana. Yes or no? Right? So pomegranate also takes effort, but it is very healthy, very good for the blood. तो ये भी अपने कंट्री में काफी अच्छे से ग्रो किया जाता है. ओके, सो उसके लिए पूरा रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट है. कैन इमेजिन. ये देखो एसबीआई. एसबीआई क्या है? आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द बैंक. इट इज शुगर केन ब्रीडिंग इंस्टीट्यूट. ओके, दैट इज एट कोयम्बतूर. तो सिर्फ शुगर केन के ऊपर रिसर्च करने के लिए इंस्टीट्यूट बना हुआ है. ओके, दीज आर वेरी पॉपुलर इंस्टीट्यूट्स एंड सी द कैंपसेस. राइट, ये देखो सेंट्रल राइस रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट एट कटक, ओडिशा. ओके, तो ये पूरा इंस्टीट्यूट राइस के ऊपर है, तो राइस पे रिसर्च होता है यहाँ पर. ओके, एंड देन यू हैव वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग इंस्टीट्यूट कॉल्ड CPRI, सेंट्रल पोटैटो रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट, व्हिच इज एट शिमला, हिमाचल प्रदेश. तो अलग अलग पोटैटो के वैरायटीज वगैरह जो यहाँ पर डेवलप किया जाता है, सब वेरी प्रीमियर इंस्टीट्यूट. तो कैन सी सच बिग इंस्टीट्यूट्स फॉर ईच एंड एवरी क्रॉप लोकेटेड इन अवर कंट्री. तो इसके अंदर कितने साइंटिस्ट काम करते होंगे, कितने रिसर्च लोग काम करते होंगे. सो मेरी स्टूडेंट्स गेटिंग एजुकेटेड ओवर हियर, गेटिंग देयर डिग्रीज. तो ये प्रैक्टिकल सिनेरियो, गेटिंग इट. सो इफ समबडी इज कमिंग एंड अभी जैसे 10th स्टैंडर्ड में हो तुम लोग, राइट? सो विल देयर विल बी लॉट्स ऑफ पीपल कमिंग एंड आस्किंग यू इफ यू आर इंटरेस्टेड इन अ पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट, इसमें स्कोप क्या है करके. नाउ दैट वर्ड विल hover around you, scope करके. So if any of you is interested in agricultural sciences या इस तरह के sciences में आगे बढ़ना है, and if people are coming and asking you what is the scope, these are your answers. Getting it? ऐसे आंसर देना आपको, ठीक है? You won't find any one fixed answer as such, but इस तरह का आंसर देना. Is it clear? Okay, then जैसे ग्रीन रिवोल्यूशन था, सेम वे वी हैव इन आवर कंट्री समथिंग कॉल्ड व्हाइट रिवोल्यूशन. Okay, some part of it again we have already discussed, right? Who is this person? Dr. Verghese Kurian, right? He is the milkman of India or the father of white revolution, you can say. इन्होंने सेटअप किया बहुत बड़ा डेयरी कंपनी in our country, that is Amul. You know that? Where is the main factory of Amul located?
गुजरात.
गुजरात में. Very good. Where in Gujarat? ये जो word है Amul, it has got a full form. You know that? AMUL. It is Anand Milk Union Limited. Okay, that is Amul. And why Anand? He is not inspired by our sir, right? Yeah, Anand. Anand is the name of the place in Gujarat. It is located between Vadodara and Ahmedabad. वो जगह का नाम है. There's a small town by the name Anand. Okay, तो आनंद वहां पे ये उनका फैक्ट्री है, मिल्क यूनियन लिमिटेड. वेरी ह्यूज फैक्ट्री. ओके, यू कैन ऑल्सो विजिट. वो टूरिस्ट लोगों के लिए भी अलाउड है. एनी टाइम इफ यू विजिट दैट साइड, यू कैन गो टू दैट फैक्ट्री, यू कैन टेक अ टूर इनसाइड. वो लोग अलाउ करते हैं, बट ऑफ कोर्स देयर आर सम सेक्शंस वेयर यू वोंट बी अलाउड. ओके, वो बाहर से ही देखना होगा, बिकॉज मिल्क प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, लोग जाएंगे, टच करेंगे, कंटामिनेट होगा, खराब होगा, दे डोंट अलाउ, बट यू कैन विजुअलाइज इट. ओके, तो इतने बड़े बड़े पाइप्स होते हैं, एज यू कैन सी, आई हैव बीन टू दैट प्लेस. ओके, तो बहुत बढ़िया रहता है. राइट फ्रॉम द स्टेज, ओके, दे कलेक्ट द मिल्क, दे प्रोसेस इट. एक जगह बटर बन रहा है, ओके, एक जगह दूसरे डेयरी प्रोडक्ट्स बन रहे हैं, यू नो, अमूल के सारे प्रोडक्ट्स अपने कंट्री, राइट. So all these are produced over, and this is the one which has generated a very huge level of employment also in our country. Okay, right from the people who are rearing those cattle, okay, to all the people who are into transporting, packaging, working in the factory, kitne sari cheezein. So that's why it is a very big revolution. कि जैसे खाना हर किसी को चाहिए, वैसे दूध भी हर किसी को चाहिए. That's one of the very common products in our country. Yes or no? Can you live without milk?
No.
You don't want milk. Everybody wants milk, right? So people in the remote areas or working as a military personnel, उनके लिए अमूल ने ऐसा प्रोडक्ट निकाला, मिल्क पाउडर. You know that. Anytime you can mix with water and you get the milk. Correct? So there is no need to worry about the storage factor. Tetra packs में milk आते हैं, so you don't need the refrigeration, right? तो ये सब revolution हुआ है, milk से related है. That's why it is called white revolution. Okay, clear about this? So like green revolution, white revolution also is a very important development of agriculture in our country. Okay, okay. And then same way you have something called the blue revolution. Correct? So green ho gaya, white ho gaya, blue also in our country, right? We have lot of good coastal area. So we have discussed about something called pisciculture, fishery, right? So natural fishery, artificial fishery, दोनों अपने country में होते हैं, right? And fishing is also a type of farming because there are products which are reared, okay, and which are processed. So fish ka processing and fish ka storage is a very big market. In near Bombay, if you go towards that Kelway beach and all, if you go Palghar side, there are large beaches. वहाँ पे Bombay duck जैसे fishes collect किए जाते हैं. So along the beaches, those fishes are dried. धूप में सुखाया जाता है. You have seen that, right?
Yes.
Fishermen colony होता है पूरा. जैसे you go to Kolivada side, they are all fishing occupation में है वो लोग. Correct? So it's a huge occupation in our country. The reason is we have very good number of water bodies. Inland fishery भी होते हैं, where the sea coast is not included. Within the land you have rivers, lakes. वहाँ पर fishing करते लोग. Okay, so all types of fishing, okay, for fishes as well as all types of seafood. तो इसमें टेक्नोलॉजी को इंक्लूड करके जितना रेवोल्यूशन लेकर आया है, that comes under blue revolution. Okay, right from like mechanized boats हैं, motor boats हैं, तो दूर अंदर जाकर fishes collect कर सकते हैं. Okay, there are different types of nets facilities for catching the fish. Okay, preserving them, right? Preserving so that it reaches the market properly, finds their way for the customers. And fishes के अलग-अलग products का canning वगैरह किया जाता है so that it can be exported to other countries. Okay, so packaging, transportation, all that comes into picture. Everything comes under blue revolution. Okay, clear about this properly? Understood these three main revolutions: green, white, and blue revolution. Okay, any doubts? Okay.
No.